The reason I really love this car isn't because it's an original one-of-one Hemi Cuda. It's because it's so cliche to the time period that I was racing cars and driving and fixing my car up. And, well, this era here, I think 78, somewhere in that range. One of the cars that I bought recently represents my childhood in many ways. Okay, first off, I'll tell you what it is, a 1971 Cuda. It's a real Cuda, it's 383 automatic. It's good stuff, it's a real 71. This car, back in the 70s and up through probably very recently, was a race car. Just keep in mind, in 1978, nobody knew these cars were gonna be worth a fortune. Guys wanted to drag race, both on the street and on the strip. If you wanted to go racing, you had to kind of, what we call hack one up. This is that car. If you go back and you find these old ads, race car, Hemi Cuda, race car, 440, race car, because back when we were kids, these cars weren't worth anything. And so if you wanted to go fast at the racetrack, the one thing you had to have was the car. You didn't have to have it appear as original. This is a car that's a 1971 Cuda. It's one of 1,168 ever made. Underneath the hood is a numbers matching engine and transmission to the car. So I wanted to share what it meant back in the day if you were gonna take a Barracuda or a Cuda or a Challenger or whatever and go racing. Overall, looks like a real car. 71 Cuda grille, 71 Cuda header. I believe this is made of fiberglass. This is a steel hood, but we put that on. This is one of our graveyard cars, used cars that I bought. Steel fenders. Stopping here, Cuda louvers, got our Cuda louvers, gotta have Cuda louvers. That is the end of stock. After that, everything is modified. Number one, you'll notice there's no dash inside that car. The thing I just banged on is plexiglass. Looking down the side, the door looks original, the quarter panel looks original, fair enough. You look inside, several things jump out. Again, plexiglass, all original looking main floor. Now, when you look inside this car, all the evidence of it being a race car. Let's just talk about the roll cage for a minute. It had a built-in, welded-in roll cage. I think it was a 6-point roll cage, which was a requirement from NHRA if you were going to go a certain speed. There's evidence on the floors, which need to be replaced. So when we put new floors in there, like in the front, it won't have that provision because we're making it into a street car. Let's talk about what back halving a car means. Okay, we work our way down to the back end. We've got a quarter panel here. Quarter looks like a factory quarter panel, looks OEM. But notice this, how flexy that is right there. He has cut everything out of the back of this car and done what we call a back half. This guy did his own, and a lot of guys that race did their own. It's an inexpensive way to go fast. Take a look at that back end area. Everything's missing. No trunk floor extensions, no wheelhouses, inner or outer. Everything's gone from in here. The quarter panels are reinforced right here. If you look right through there, you'll see how those just have a piece of sheet metal pulled around them on both sides. To put this into some kind of a perspective of what this back halving can mean, take a look at the catalog Cuda.
Right.
All right. Go to the beginning stages when George and I are working on it. Let's say we start by putting the frame rails up there. We put the front frame rails in place and we put the rear frame rails. Okay, forget the rear frame rails. They've cut them out of this car. You see us put a trunk pan down. There's no trunk pan on this car. The wheelhouses that we painstakingly put in place, they're gone. The under seat pan that helped us build the floor structure, all that trouble we went to build, it doesn't exist in this car. They've cut it out. You see a couple of tubular bars there?
Yeah.
He welded some suspension onto the tubular bars that are basically holding the rear body panel from flopping like this. That's all they do. Tied it into the front frame rails, and that gave him enough strength, I guess, to go, well, with the roll cage and some other things. I don't want to underplay it. It was a safe car.
Oh, yeah.
But he took out everything. Hundreds of pounds. I don't know what it would all weigh if you added it up. But you open up and look through the trunk, there's no trunk floor. There's like a potato chip out there. When it's all over, we're going to be able to replace all those parts with the factory original replica parts, the AMD stuff. It's going to be like building the catalog Cuda, but a way, way, way easier.
And also, this is going to be an actual
And this is a real
matching.
BS23 November. Yep.
Wow.
This is a neat car that has every ability to be a blue chip investment grade Mopar. Just before I raise it up, show you under the hood what I was talking about, the fact that this car is really very original from the windshield forward. So he has done some patchwork in the upper cowl panel area and hinge mounting area from rust. These cars get it. But the rest of it isn't cut up. A lot of guys have cut the firewall out of these cars, cut the inner fenders out, put strut rods in to try to lighten it up, reinforce the frame rails. All this is original stuff. Wrong radiator, God knows where that come from. This is the original numbers matching block. Numbers, numbers, numbers. But point is, everything here is original. We'll end up putting patches in the aprons, a little bit on the firewalls on both sides. And we still have our original Curious yellow hood. Now, the great news about that is on an E-body, all the numbers that make it a real car reside at the front in that cowl, upper cowl panel, and the tie bar. So whether you're replacing all of that sheet metal because it got cut out and made into a race car, or whether you replace all that sheet metal because it's rotten, the results are the same. All we're doing is restoring a car that happens to have all of its original body numbers.
Yeah.
Better than that, the gentleman that made this into a race car that I bought it from saved the original block, original transmission, original fender tag, broadcast sheet, dash VIN, which can't be made.
Oh, wow.
Everything is there to build a 383 automatic 71 Cuda in one of the most popular colors, Curious Yellow.
Wow.
All right, so we have the original K-member and suspension. That's good. Bolted to, of course, the original frame rails. The torsion bar cross member area is savable, definitely. It's just had these, what I believe to be tow hooks welded onto the bottom of it that'll have to come off, and we'll have to clean up the cross member. With that, I'm going to let it down, move it out, we'll get it disassembled over to the dipper, bring it back, and then Josh and Shane and the guys can start assessing what metal needs to be replaced. We can get it ordered, get it installed, and start building this car back out. But a numbers matching 71 Curious Yellow 383 automatic, one of 1,168, is well worth putting the time into. Now, you'll notice we're standing in front of a big box right here. Now, Dougie knows what's in the box, but hasn't seen what's in the box. Royal's been asking, what's in the box? What's in the box? What's in the box? Kind of like that movie. What's in the box? What's in the box? Remember that?
Well,
7?
I didn't see that movie.
Whatever. Royal, as insane as this may or may not sound to you, inside this box, can't believe I'm actually saying it, is the original rear end housing and axles out of my Charger.
No way.
It's a long story.
Really?
You know the car got crushed?
Uh-huh.
Well, the guy went back that helped me find the car that got crushed,
Uh-huh.
asked the people who had it, who took it in to get crushed, if by chance, for any reason, they would have had anything they took off the car. And the guy says, I got a rear end leaning up against the wall in my garage with some axles that was under that car.
Wow. Wow, what are the chances?
I took a look at the picture. It's a 70 only because these are 70 only housings. It has to be the one. It has the Unilug lug nuts on it that I had on my mag wheels.
Oh, wow.
That I hated with a passion because they almost got me killed. So I wanted you and Doug to be here.
Oh, cool.
Believe it or not, I've actually built out my complete rear end. I had the whole thing built out when I, Mark Warman, discovered for the first time that the 70 position for the distribution block for the rear brakes is in a lower position than it is in 68 and 69. It would work, you just use the lines for a 68 or a 69, but you guys know me, I don't like to do that. So that got me thinking, and then I remembered that he had written me somewhere years ago saying that he thinks he's got the axle out of the car. And I had forgot all about it and I didn't care. But now I care, and I chased him down, and this is it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Let's see if it's in here. Dougie, cut that end open for me, old buddy. This is big stuff. I have not seen it either. It is all taped up. This is real cuts. This isn't that TV land cutting stuff. This is real. Yeah. This is the big one.
There you go, Royal.
Rollo, go ahead. You knock yourself out there, buddy.
Ready?
Open her up.
We're waiting for you.
Oh, God, we got a lot of packaging in there. I told you this is real. Okay.
Wow.
We'll clean up afterwards. This is like Christmas, right?
Every day. Yeah.
Boy, he did a good job of packing. Oh, my gosh. Folksy folksies.
Wow.
Holy crap.
Axles and everything. Oh.
Oh, my gosh.
I mean, this is a huge deal for you, but on a tribute car, this tiny little axle that's going to be underneath your car, not even visible. Why is that a big deal?
It's the only part to my original car, so that means something to me. It's kind of the same reason that the steering wheel meant something to Kimberly Cook, right? Or
Yeah.
the shifter meant something to Murray Goodings. 69 Super Breed Johnson had the white ball instead of the wood grain ball, and things like that. When you look at that and you realize that your hands were on that rear end, your memory, thank God you have it, really transports you a little bit to that day we were out there, and things become more vivid. Memories become more vivid the more you focus on them, because your brain has it all in there. It's just what it brings up. And so I see Doug and me out there with a bottle jack, getting the car off the ground, and I see us swapping it out, and it took hours. And then I see me doing the big burnout. I physically see it in my brain, as crazy as it is. So when I touch that rear end housing, to me, it is the key to the past. And it's a nothing, it's a throwaway, it's rotten, it's rusty, it's in horrible shape. That rear end is worth more to me than all the Dana 60s and every other car that's here. And for me, I think the one thing I gained from it really was a reset, folks. I bring everybody in the world's dreams back to life again. And I sit back and I think to myself, man, that really hit him hard. Man, that was really emotional. To me, I see now, even more clear than I ever did before, what these cars mean to these people.
That's awesome.
This is the rear end that I swapped out the third member in your Barracuda into, because you didn't believe they wouldn't believe my Charger would do dualies. We call them dualies, posi traction, sure grip. They said, yeah, big old boat anchor like that's nose heavy. It's got a one-wheel drive rear end. I said, no, it'll still do a half-a-mile burnout with dualies. It doesn't matter. Well, I didn't have one, so we took the one out of Doug's 70 Barracuda, and we put it in this housing right here, folks. Right smack dab there.
Wow. You did a great job.
Oh. Wow. And see this hole where it's located? 68 and 69, maybe even 67, I'm not sure, is up here. This one being down like that is correct.
I would have never guessed.
These are the lug nuts. I touched these lug nuts 45, 50 years ago. I had unilugs on the back of it.
Rusted, huh?
You remember how your daddy gave you everything like the wheels and the tires? Well, I didn't have that. I had a father who had passed on. And so what I ended up doing was my best I could to get my car looking good. And I went down there to the tire store on 34th, Randy's. Wasn't it Randy's, 34th or 35th? And I bought a pair of used 14-inch, 14 by 10s. And that's what I had on the back of that car. With great big meats, I had M50 14s on the back of that car. And these are the lug nuts that held the wheels on. Wow.
Check that
Well,
side.
it's a little bit rusty.
Yes, it
It's
is.
from Texas.
Yep.
Wow. Is that crazy?
It's also how old?
Yeah, it is. It's
I'll have
amazing.
to weld the tabs on. The tabs are broken off.
Man, somebody tightened that down
Man,
tight, didn't they?
did. Wow. That's okay. There isn't anything here I can't fix with a little bit of filler and a little bit of metal work. So what do you think? There will be one original part on my car.
This
That's
is awesome.
So guys, the next time you see this housing, it'll be completely painted and reassembled with all the correct parts.
Nice. Wow, the chances of that finding something like that.
back on the memory of the dance we shared neath the stars above. For a moment, all the world was right. But how could I have known that you'd ever say goodbye?
Is that
and
Carz?
now, yeah, God rest his soul. Hello, ghouls, Mark Warman here, the ice tray from Graveyard Cars. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like it, drop a comment down below, and subscribe to our channel. We have fantastic stuff coming up, and some of it you've never seen before. I gotta go insult people. Hey, Alice!